we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
The 4th of July, it almost feels like the second half of summer starts, right?
We would like
July
to thank
is
the
now
following
gone. 8th of July is upon us. Football will become front and center this week. Media days this week? How can that even be? NFL camps open in less than 2 weeks. It'll be 118 in Vegas. What up, boys and girls? Merry Monday. Hope you had a great long weekend with a lot to do. Lots of family time. Hopefully you got out and did something fun. Maybe fished, played golf, camped, did something. Probably caught a little soccer, maybe some golf. It's the opening drive. Jefferson Bieta, JJ Buck. How you living?
What it do?
You all right?
I
caught some who'd Portugal play? Shootout.
France?
Yeah, I caught that. Got off the golf course on, was that Wednesday? Was that sound right? Would that be maybe Friday? What day would that be? Because I played both. But we went in to settle up. Have a drink. And there it was, right front and center. And it was 0-0 after 118 minutes and watched it go down to penalty kicks. And France won, right? Yeah, France won. So caught a little of that. What'd you do? You had 4 days off, man. How'd that feel to you?
It was amazing.
It didn't happen for you.
Nah, just good to just reset. Did a little fishing on Saturday.
Really? What'd you catch?
Nothing.
All right, then.
But got out there
Yeah.
at the lake all day.
Beautiful.
Fun stuff. Just kind of disconnect.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's good. It kind of feels like for me, it's starting now. Like here we go. This is the symbolic. All right, we're in it week. Like with media days. We'll be in Vegas this week for Mountain West Media Day, which will be Wednesday and Thursday. Commissioner Navarez speaks on Wednesday morning. It'll be 9:00 our time, and then I'm going to catch a couple other things. If I can, I'm going to try to catch a Team USA game on Wednesday night too. I kind of committed to a function that I'm wondering if I can decommit.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff going on in Vegas right now.
Typically.
And sometimes you don't get that crossover, but it's with Paris Olympics, Team USA training camp.
And then Summer League will start right away. Yeah. Did you catch any Summer League stuff? Did you catch the Bronny debut?
I had to look at it.
All right. I guess we could start there. What'd you think of the Bronny debut? They're going to shut him down for today. He's got a slight injury. What's his injury?
Knee soreness.
He's played one Summer League game, and he's got some knee soreness, so they're going to shut him down today. What'd you think? Because everything he does is going to be Caitlin Clark evaluated times 5.
Which is, it's impossible to live up to those expectations.
Well,
for the 55th overall pick, kid who's a year removed from heart surgery, who did not play a meaningful role in college last year.
Yes. I was talking about this last Friday when you were out, and Bob was in, Gato Roberto. And I talked about Bronny, and there's part of me that feels, and I feel for him a little bit. And you're going to go, feel for him? Why? I mean, like his dad said yesterday, he doesn't need to do this. He's already made $8 million, $7.9 million for his career, plus his NIL money, plus he's got a silver spoon, plus he's got it made. Right. But he's out there, and he will never be good enough because he will never be better than his dad. And Bob's like, well, you don't know that. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You do.
I think that is one of the non-hottest takes you can make when it comes to Bronny James.
No, I wasn't trying to be a hot take, right? And Bob's like, well, I mean, you don't know that. Well, yeah, because LeBron James is one of the, 15, maybe 20 best players of all time. One of the two 3, 4 best players of all time on anybody's list. And LeBron James is 6'8", 245, 250 and can bully. And Bronny is 6'1", maybe 6'2", and about 210 pounds. And he's not that physical specimen. And, oh, by the way, nobody's going to be LeBron James. So he's always going to be compared to his daddy. And then he's got the way he came into the league. And I said the other day, JJ, there's part of me that just feels a little bit bad for the kid. But it's hard to feel bad for him because everybody would take his place, right?
They would. And I think a lot of this, too, is what a lot of people have been saying is stop trying to spin it. And we've discussed this.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to pull the wool over our eyes. Bronny James with the 55th selection to Lakers because his dad is LeBron James. No. End of story.
What I said the other day, and I've said this about things that are going on in our world outside of sports too. Stop telling me I don't see what I see. Right? Stop. I mean, it's okay. You know, LeBron went out. Did you listen to the LeBron James? And I haven't listened to the whole thing. I barely saw a clip yesterday. The LeBron James interview where he sat down with ESPN yesterday. What was the theme?
Well, the theme when it came to Bronny was LeBron just trying to lay the foundation, like the noise doesn't affect him.
Right. He said he didn't give a bleep. Yeah.
Like Bronny doesn't care, but no, I couldn't handle it, and I would care because I did. So he's trying to lay that, keep saying what you're saying. It's not going to affect him.
Yeah. He said he's the complete opposite of his dad. His dad will say something, to address the critics. He says, bro, don't care. Everything that's being said about him, he really does not care. He doesn't give a bleep. Okay. He said when he came in as a rookie, when I came in, I wanted people to like me. And some of the things that people were saying about me kind of bothered me early in my career. He didn't give a bleep. I think it bothers him now. Do you know today is the 14-year anniversary of not 2, not 3, not 4. It's aged well. and the absolute genesis of the term, I'm taking my talents to. Correct?
Absolutely.
And now that's what all the kids, I'm taking my talents to LSU. I'm taking my talents to Oregon. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I do feel a little bit for Bronny because, well, he's in a no-win situation. But just tell me what I see. Stop telling me I don't see what I see. Stop telling me LeBron James had nothing to do with JJ Redick becoming the coach. You're his buddy, his podcast partner, his business partner, his friend. And stop telling me that LeBron had nothing to do with getting Bronny there. Quote, I'm not involved in the coaching hiring, but I'm excited about JJ. I'm excited about working with Nate McMillan. I haven't worked with him since the Olympic run in 2008. First time working with Scott Brooks. Looking forward to that. So I'm excited about that. That's the extent of it all this summer as far as the Lakers. End quote. Come on, man. I mean, I think we're all cool if you say, yeah, they asked me because I got to believe they did. And I gave my input on JJ. I think JJ is going to be great. He's my buddy. He's my business partner. But beyond that, he's an unbelievable basketball mind. And just because he hasn't done it before doesn't mean he can't do it. I think JJ is going to be great. He's the perfect fit for this. I gave it my endorsement.
Yeah, but that ship has sailed. And what
if he just said that last night? During that thing last night. Would that have helped?
Yeah, if we're sitting here saying we don't want to stop lying to us when we see exactly what's happening, so of course you can't sit here and then say, well, no, none of that would matter. And it's a weird time for the Lakers because they're a franchise that has handed things over to LeBron, and for the next 2 or 3 years, saying we're all in on this run. We'll give you JJ Redick. We'll put Bronny James on the team, and then there's it's split, and there's people that are just looking at it going, how could you do that? You're becoming a joke of a franchise. Let someone like LeBron do that. And then the other side of it too is it's almost like, well, what are they missing out on because they let LeBron do that? Is that the reason they didn't land DeMar DeRozan or Klay Thompson or any big name free agent. And that debate is going to be there all season.
Well, LeBron was asked about that, and he basically said it's just kind of the way the NBA works, right? He didn't want to take any bit. I mean, the obvious optic is people that want to play with LeBron. I mean, that's whether it's true or not. Everybody ran away from it, didn't they? Buddy Hield got to sign and trade with the Warriors. DeMar DeRozan went to the Kings. Klay Thompson went to Dallas. Right? James Harden could have opted out. Jonas Valanciunas could have gone there. They didn't. Quote from LeBron, it takes two to tango. I think our front office, our coaching staff, they tried to do the job that they wanted to do or tried to get guys to come, and it didn't happen, and that's okay. It's part of the business. I've been in this business long enough to know that sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. So we don't sit here and lie about or cry about it. We move on. Klay's a great player. Obviously, DeMar's a great player. Valanciunas was one of those guys who ended up going to Washington, was someone that was in talks with us. But we move on to see how we continue to get better. I'm looking forward to this fall and get back out there. End quote. Dude went to the worst team in the league instead of your team.
Yeah, I think that one probably was they were not offering Valanciunas that much money.
Right.
That the Wizards gave him.
No, that's right. You want to come play for a real, contender. You want to go there, make a bunch of money, and do like, let me go make my money. All right, I'm down with that.
The one that really makes the most is
Klay,
because I don't think the Lakers are ever going to get near $74 million for DeRozan on a deal.
No, but Klay's the one where LeBron called him by every report. Daddy came out and flat out said, I wanted to come here. His dad is a Laker. His dad is a Laker broadcaster. His dad still works for the Lakers. He's in LA. Kid grew up there, a Laker fan. That's the one. That's the one and he went to Dallas. You're like, okay. Yeah, that's the one. All right, lots to do today. We're going to get into some football stuff, baseball all-stars. There's a new, and there's so many reports on what's going to happen in college football with the two remaining Pac-12 teams and then reverse mergers. And I know we're going to hear a lot about it. There's a new theory out, or at least I don't know if it's a theory or report. I'll get it to you. And it's going to make you think, and it's going to really spur a lot of conversation, I do believe, that I want to get into. When we come back, and let me give you a phone number. It's 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. Your emails come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. Adrian's working on the television side. You can watch us on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. You can watch us on Xfinity. I've now morphed into Xfinity from Comcast because that's what they have. See, I did X and Xfinity instead of Comcast and Twitter. I mean, I'm changing with the times. I'm versatile. Xfinity Channel 26. And you can watch it on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. When we come back, Team USA Health. They're in Vegas. The Olympics are coming. How about that basketball team? We got to probably talk about some Caitlin Clark, don't we? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's kickoff time, and Believe podcasts are here to get you ready for the season.
This team, they looked to figure it out, and they said, okay.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres.
They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
Oh, real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain.
Who's that?
Got your new buddy in jail.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Coming up on the Paris Olympics, the United States men's basketball team has gotten together in Vegas. They play a little exhibition this week. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. Kevin Durant is dealing with calf soreness. Kawhi Leonard admits he's concerned about missing out on being part of Team USA because of his right knee injury. That's the one that forced him to miss the end of the Clippers' first-round playoff loss to the Dallas Mavericks. So they're going to add Caitlin Clark if Kawhi Leonard can't play. Wouldn't that be something?
Would make sense.
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, they could do that, right?
Get people to watch.
I mean, they're not going to do that, certainly. Quote, yeah, but I took the time and I was able to turn around over the past 2 weeks. So I'm out here now. Yeah, and I'm having a good time. That's Kawhi Leonard.
No, I'm having a good time. I'm a fun guy.
Yeah. This is the third time in a row that Leonard's postseason ended with an injury. That doesn't include missing the entire 21-22 season when he tore his ACL. Dude, he is so good. He's just also oft injured. So we'll see. So that you got a couple of guys out. By the way, Giannis is going to the Olympics. Luka, not so much. Giannis's team, Greece, is going for the first time. He scored 23 points. Greece beat Croatia 80-69. That was one of 4 men's basketball qualifying tournaments being held. There's a 12-team field at the Paris Games. I would have thought it would be more, wouldn't you?
It would seem like be more, but then you just think about the timing of it all.
I guess.
Play your round robinson into elimination.
Giannis's Greek team knocked out Luka Doncic's Slovenia team on Saturday. So you get Giannis, you don't get Luka. Luka could probably use some rest, dude. What do you think?
I think so.
I mean, it's right. All right, and then you got what's going on in the WNBA. I didn't watch any, but I do watch the. Did you watch any? I mean, I saw the highlights. Watching these two rookies rip it up is really cool. It is. Angel Reese, WNBA history. She recorded her 13th straight double-double. It's a new league record. Her team lost 84-71, but she had 17 and 14. That beats the former record of 12 consecutive double-doubles. That was Candace Parker in 2009 and 2010. This is one of those you probably keep going. Like the other day, she had a free throw at the end. She had 2 free throws at 9 points. She missed the first one and rolled in the second to keep it going. This is now one where you just kind of keep her on the floor and keep her going, right? You're absolutely conscious of what's going on, and you keep this thing going.
Yeah, you ride the wave as long as you can, and this is exceptional. Both these players living up to the hype, and Angel Reese is really locked in, and with everything that went on early, and the mess between the Sky and Caitlin Clark, and the rivalry and drama, and just to see them playing basketball is good in all this and putting up exceptional numbers, that it's not just hype, it's actual performance on the floor. Yeah.
But this is one of those, like, I think, 2 minutes to go when she's got 8 points, you just feed her the ball until she gets her bucket, right?
Yeah. Depending on the situation.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. And there are a lot of games they're down big. Caitlin Clark, first ever triple-double by a rookie in the WNBA. She did that on Saturday. Not only did she do it, but her team was a winner over a first-place club in New York Liberty. So the team's getting a little bit better. She pulled down her 10th rebound at the 7:07 mark in the fourth quarter. That gave her the triple-double. I mean, she paced it, man. She finished with 19, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds. These two, they're I mean, everything that this league could have asked for. Everything this league could have asked for. They finally stopped yapping and played basketball, and the basketball is actually holding up. The quality of the two of their game is beyond sufficient. And while they may not be the best players in the league, they're the best players on their team, and they are performing in and out every single night to a place where this league could have only dreamed. And it's not just, okay, the rookie phenom, because I really believed those first couple weeks, they're going to yap their way where people are just going to go, I don't give a damn. Now, I don't know how many more people give a damn. I don't know how many more people are watching, but the television ratings will tell you they are. The attendance numbers will tell you they are. So this is everything this league could have hoped for.
You need a little bit of both. Yeah, we can't deny that we like talking about things in other sports and storylines and the pressure and guys going back and forth and say this was the absolute worst thing for the WNBA. But you got to have both. And now that you're finally getting both, that when you talk about a rivalry, you can talk about it. Because so many people tried to say, well, they play two different positions. They can't be rivals on a basketball floor. Absolutely, they can.
Sure they can.
Like, what was the point of that? Like, you look at Kennedy Carter and all this, and when she bumped Caitlin Clark and like, who are you? You're worthless, blah, blah. She's a leading scorer of the Chicago Sky. And I think that's big, too, that now there's performance there, what Angel Reese is doing. And this is the window for the WNBA to work. You have some drama, you have performance, a little bit to pull you in, because this is when you're going to listen the next couple weeks. Because once August hits, we're squared in on 0 week for college football, kickoff of the NFL. We know how this works. And for the WNBA, it's worked out perfectly to this point.
I haven't heard a lot of talk lately. I mean, honestly, it's now maybe the two teams haven't played each other, and it seems like they played each other every other
Yeah, but
day.
like for a little bit there, it was like every game. You're like, wait.
Yeah. But
Sky Fever again?
It hasn't. I think both of these women have earned the respect of the rest of the league, where it's not just a bunch of hype. And it's not just like as people were saying, oh, this little white girl, all she can do is score. No, dude, she can ball. By the way, Angel Reese can freaking ball. And, you know, I heard on the way in again today, oh, well, it's their magic and bird. I've been telling you that since they entered, they were in college. This is like their magic and bird, which was, by the way, one of the greatest things that ever happened to the NBA. And may, by the way, be the greatest thing that ever happens to the WNBA as far as popularity. It's something. All right. 505-246-0610. Come on in today. When we get back, I'm going to, have you had a chance to look through this yet? The cost of playing in the new Pac-12? There is a story out, and it is said that it is being a whispered scenario. And I don't even know what that means, but John Canzano, who writes something called The Bald-Faced Truth and covers the Pac-12 pretty well, has a story out. This came out 3 days ago in regards to what it might look like as far as a rebuilt Pac-12 Mountain West merger kind of a thing. Who might be in it, and one of the latest scenarios on how to get into it. I want to get into that and where that would leave New Mexico and you know how New Mexico plays into that. So we're going to do that when we come back. I tell you about IPS a lot because I really believe in what IPS does. International Protective Service. They not only protect my home and my neighbor's home, but hundreds and hundreds of homes around Albuquerque and Santa Fe, businesses as well. And I know you see them when you're out and about. Look, if you've been a victim of a home or business break-in, you know all too well it takes hours, if not days, for police to respond. They just don't have enough officers to cover all the calls they get for service. And when it's your home, when it's your business, you need a much quicker response. How does 7 minutes or less sound? That's normally the response time for customers of International Protective Service. IPS has officers strategically placed around Albuquerque and now in Santa Fe. They react quickly. Many times they catch the criminals in the act. They detain them. They call the police to come pick them up. IPS also provides standing guards if you need eyes on your property around the clock. They'll install alarms and camera systems. They've got a state-of-the-art facility. Monitor those cameras 24/7. It raises the level of security around your home and your business. So you're going to go on a trip. You got a vacation coming up. Who's watching your home when you're away? Don't let it be the bad guys. Call the good guys. A quick response to your alarm or standing guards at your business. That's what IPS does. You sleep better at night. I know you can't prevent all the crime, but if you've got no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. IPS, passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420.
AM 610, the sports animal.
Gladiators got beat yesterday, 81-55. I was out there yesterday. Made the trek to Rio Rancho, JJ. See, I do. Got the helicopter fired up. Flew out there. Dan says the Gladiators must be tired of beat up Jeffrey and returning Juan Jose. Give up 81-52 in the first half at Santa Ana Star. Jordan Bird got loose on a play and big long run. I mean, it was probably, 35. I mean, what's the field? 50 yards. So it was probably a 35-yard run. And they called it back for taunting, dude. So he gets in the end zone. They use the NCAA rule. So they said, and you look at the replay, he didn't even really turn his head. But they called him for taunting. And so it's 15. And then they turn the ball over.
Right, so they took away the touchdown.
They take away the touchdown. They don't penalize it afterwards. They penalize 15 yards from the spot of the taunt if you taunt before you get into the end zone. Yeah. Horrible. Just horrible. Yeah, but 81-55 was the number. All right. There's going to be a lot of talk this week about, a lot of stuff with the Mountain West and the future. I mean, I got to believe that's going to be the theme when Commissioner Gloria Navarro speaks on Wednesday. It's going to be, what do we got? Half the league's got new coaches. We got.
Well, it could be 7 now, right?
With Utah State?
The Utah State situation.
Yeah, more than half the league. So that's 7 out of 12. Yeah, out of 12 because Hawaii's in for football. What is it going to look like going forward? And John Canzano writes something called the Bald-Faced Truth. It's a It's a column blog. And usually he's on. I mean, he's pretty in depth with the Pac-12, and he talks about JJ the bad feelings, somewhat coming from Mountain West presidents about the way Washington State and Oregon State have somewhat looked down, wrinkled their noses, talked negatively about a reverse merger, basically saying that, that's a last resort scenario, that we're better than y'all. That would be relegation. And he says one Mountain West source told me it felt like a slap of the face. Right? I mean, the Mountain West has thrown the Pac-12 a life preserver by giving them a football scheduling partnership for the next 2 seasons. But there's a new scenario being watched around. Now, you've heard all kinds of scenarios, right? And I have too, where it's a full reverse merger where the whole Mountain West is going to go fold under the Pac-12 flag. They're going to take all the teams. And I know you've heard that they're going to peel off the top, whatever that means, right? San Diego State, Colorado State, UNLV, Boise State. Who else? Air Force, Fresno State. What does that mean? There's a scenario that he says that is being whispered about involving the Pac-12 building the top conference in the West. And, I mean, they're going to be the only conference out West when they all merge. But they're talking about a self-selecting strategic plan, JJ, that would essentially save Oregon State and Washington State millions of dollars. Because the scenario now is Washington State and Oregon State are going to use a lot of their settlement money for the Pac-12 to help some of these teams buy their way out of the Mountain West, right? That was the scenario that these exit fees are going to come from the Pac-12 money. They're going to do it. Can you afford to be in the Pac-12? Okay. So a couple things. He talks about the expense that would be involved in rebuilding the Pac-12, especially if it means poaching Mountain West schools. The exit fee is $17 million per school. And that comes with an additional $10 million approximately for a poaching penalty for the Pac-12. So the Pac-12 is earmarked, they claim, essentially $65 million in settlement funds to cover penalties for 6 Mountain West schools. You would figure that San Diego State, Colorado State, UNLV, Boise State, Air Force, and Fresno State? Or San Jose State? Probably Fresno State. You talk about the full-blown reverse merger, right? And Oregon State and Washington State have always basically said that's not desirable. That's basically them merging with somebody they think they're better than. Especially Oregon State hasn't liked that. Okay? But they've been much more delicate speaking about it over the last couple of weeks. If the Pac-12 raids the Mountain West, that means go out and pull whatever they want. Do they want to do that? They were just raided. But I guess they don't care, right? I mean, does it matter? If you were raided, you know how that feels.
You don't care at that point.
You don't care, right? Okay. The reverse merger is the easiest, cleanest way to do that, but I don't know that cleanest and easiest is ever the way to do it. So there may be, and this is where this gets interesting, an approach to offer a reverse merger with the Mountain West, but with a caveat. So they may say, all right, y'all are welcome, but there's a minimum floor for your school's athletic department budget, meaning you have to spend X number of dollars. Your budget has to be whatever. So I don't know what the number is. I don't think Canzano, JJ, knows what the number is, but he threw out a number of $60 million as an athletic budget. Little context. Oregon State had a $98 million budget in fiscal year 2023. If you want to go back to 2022 for a more fair comparison, and that sounds right, Oregon State and Washington State spent $87 million and $83 million, respectively, on athletics. 87 and 83. But if we go with a $60 million number, JJ, only 4 Mountain West schools reached that threshold. Air Force, San Diego State, UNLV, and Colorado State. This would base what he's saying is, yeah, you're all welcome if you step up to the plate. New Mexico in 2022, fiscal year 2022, and this is numbers obtained by the USA Today database. New Mexico, out of the 11 full-time members of the Mountain West, JJ had the third lowest budget, $44.8 million. So they would have to come up with another basically $15.2 million for their athletic budget to qualify. I don't know what kind of momentum, and I'll probably get a better feel this week, don't you think?
I'm sure you will.
But the way Canzano says this, he says it basically allows Mountain West schools to self-select. So if only 5 or 6 schools are able to afford it, so be it. If 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's great. Those who can't get to the $60 million floor, he says, aren't serious about funding athletics anyway. Their campuses may welcome the reprieve and maybe even they collect a buyout fee. The real financial silver lining, it eliminates the costly penalties for the Pac-12 and exit fees for the joining members. Boise State, San Diego State, Air Force, Colorado State, and UNLV are the teams that come up frequently. Those schools are the top 5 budgets. Air Force is over $67 million. San Diego State's right there as well. UNLV 62.6, Colorado State 61.2, and Boise State at 50.3. When you read this, when you hear this, what do you think? It's concerning, right?
I think it was always going to be concerning because it wasn't going to be as simple as just joining forces. There's too many hands in the pot. There's too many differing opinions about where teams sit, what teams are worth. And you figured that the Pac-2, those schools were going to find a scenario which kept them out of having to buy out teams, because that does not seem like something that makes sense for them at all, to blow through their resources to buy out X amount of Mountain West teams just to put the Pac-6 rate together.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that's what they want. What's the right number? The pushback from those teams who aren't spending in the top 5 or 6 is bound to be that there are other ways to measure the investment in athletics. Do new facilities matter? Well, that doesn't help you here. Is the budget floor specific enough? If it becomes a reality, there's probably going to be a football-specific minimum investment included as well. Right? You got to spend X number on football. You just got to be better in football. It buys the Pac-12 time to wait for further chaos. And look, the Pac-12, I think those 2 schools are waiting to see what happens with the ACC. Does Stanford and Cal want to come back? Right? Or does the ACC expand and invite them? This is just another one to look at. And it's out there, and it's interesting. All right, 505-246-0610. Bronco Mendenhall is going to be with us at 9 o'clock, by the way. We're going to talk with the Louisville football coach ahead of media days. He's going to call us, be with us at 9 o'clock this morning. Looking forward to talking to him and what he expects going into media day. One thing I know what to expect, JJ. The polls will come out on Wednesday morning, and I know where Lobos will be. And it doesn't matter. Because I'm really interested in talking to him as he gets ready to get started. If he knows any more than we do, and he does, obviously. But when you've got such a brand new everything, right? I mean, you got an incumbent quarterback, but it's new to him, and it's a new system. JJ, I'm looking forward to his response on. It feels like just a total great unknown. You guys could be really good. You could be really not good. Like, how do you know by going up against yourself? You know what I mean? So we'll talk to Bronco. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. What are your thoughts? I got a few more thoughts on this Pac-12 reverse merger, this whole concept, the minimum floor, and how would you feel? First of all, let's just play with this number 60 million. How would UNM get there? It would require some state help. How would you feel if UNM goes to the legislature and say, look, man, you guys got billions of dollars in oil money. Can we get another $15 million for athletics? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Out.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sports Animal.
And that hurricane is ripping through Texas coast. Houston's a million people without power. Port Aransas, Corpus Christi. So many of us know people down there, and best thoughts to those people down there. Man, that looks gnarly. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610, if for whatever reason you're still paying tolls. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. I laid out this scenario that was evidently being whispered around. I don't even know what whispered around means, and amongst two, but when Canzano writes something, there tends to be some sort of truth to it. And there's a scenario out there in regards to the latest realignment of what's going to happen with the PAC and the Mountain West. And it would be a self-selection. And again, this is a scenario. This isn't something that they've decided they're doing. This is just another one of those scenarios that are out there. And it would be a floor that your athletic department would have to spend. And he threw out the number $60 million. $60 million for athletics, and as far as a budget. And there'd probably be a floor in football. New Mexico, as of fiscal 2022, spent $44.865 million on athletics. Now, some of you are going, holy smokes, that's a lot of money. And some of you are going, holy smokes, that's no money, right? It's totally your perspective. And I know some of you were going to hear the same number and react completely differently. JJ, I don't know where around here that kind of money would come from to raise another $15.5 million annually, right? I don't think it's coming from ticket sales. I don't know if it could come from naming rights on the stadium or the pit. The obvious answer is, all right, can you go to legislature and find that money? And there's those of us who understand athletics who would go, well, I mean, this would be the time. There's billions and billions of dollars in oil money, and every financial prediction says the oil money is going to continue to be there for years. How would you feel to make sure that New Mexico could be part of this? And if this is the scenario, again, to make sure that you could play at that level, the PAC level, because the alternative would be, JJ, I don't know. I mean, would the Mountain West stay together and try to pick some of the American or Conference USA, or are you going into Conference USA, or you falling into the American? Because I don't know what if you get left out of this, if you're sitting there with, I don't know who you'd be, Nevada, Utah State, maybe Wyoming. Wyoming's probably could go to their legislature and get the money. How would you feel about asking and getting that money from the state?
The biggest thing there would be presenting it to everyone else. Because I think that the majority of people listening right now, even if they would differ on it, I'm not sure about that. Like, they understand the big picture of athletics and kind of what it means moving forward in the position of, the D1 universities in this state and how it's important to try to be on the front foot as much as you can. The thing would be, all right, when they're talking about it one room over and you're selling it to that audience, what are you saying? Like saying, oh, University of New Mexico is getting $15 million more from the legislature for this. And it would be, all right, how does this benefit me? Because that's the question everyone asks. Why?
Our taxpayer money. Yeah. I understand. And it would be a battle. It would be a huge battle. Is it worth it? And you and I sit here and say, absolutely, it's worth it. But where, it would be really interesting. It would be really, really interesting to see how that all plays out. All right, 505-246-0610. 888-922-0610. New Mexico's true budget is closer to $48 million. If you count, the Lobo Club, which most schools do. I guess UNM does not do that in their federal numbers. But Oregon State and Washington State had more money coming in from the Pac-12 in those years too. So their budget was bigger. So their budget's going to come down. But their budget at that point, look, their budget in fiscal year 2023, Oregon State's was $98 million. But using 2022 numbers, their budget was $87 million. So $87 million, but JJ, they got a lot of that money from the Pac-12, which won't be there anymore. So let's just say it brings it down closer to 60, 65 million, right? I mean, that might be the magic number. I'm going to tell you, I think it's pretty important. But I know a lot of people would say, well, why? Why is it important? Why does New Mexico have to play at that level? They'll never be able to compete. They've never been able to compete before in football. This isn't just about football, although it is about football.
That's what happens with the other sports.
I mean, you love your basketball program. Do you want them to continue to compete with San Diego State and Colorado State and Boise State and maybe Oregon State and Washington State? Or, I mean, JJ, I don't even know. The alternative is what?
And you don't want to get into the alternative, which is keeping your fingers crossed that Conference USA or the American Athletic Conference would want to absorb.
Well, they
other
would.
Teams
I think. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's the great, and great is not great, unknown. 505-246, Bronco Mendenhall scheduled to be with us at 9 o'clock this morning. Looking forward to have a conversation with UNM's football coach. We're not going to get into this with him. That's not his issue. We're going to get into his football team with him. We're going to head into media day, where he is and how this thing gets started and what he's seen in the off season. How are his lines? That's the biggest question I've heard from people. How are they up front? We'll talk to Bronco about that. 9 o'clock on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
For your surprisingly great rates, Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
For 5 years running, it's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Bob.
Coming up the 4th of July weekend, how'd it go? You guys are on the email this morning, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. We talked about this scenario that's out there. I think UNM's been focused on hitting that $60 million number for a while now, how to get there. And they believe they've got a path to that. You're like, wait, what? If you're just joining us. So there's a scenario that's being, I don't know, whispered or talked about self-selection from teams in the Mountain West to join the Pac. As this thing gets closer to figuring out who's going to be in the Pac-12 or Pac however many to join Washington State and Oregon State, if in fact it goes that way. There's a million scenarios out there. Washington State and Oregon State are hoping that the ACC loses Clemson and Florida State and then reaches out to them to create a West Wing and invites them to join. I think there's a lot of scenarios out there, but at some point in early 2025, people are going to have to make decisions on this. And so there's a scenario out there that, all right, well, if you've got a minimum of this athletic budget you can buy in, that means you're committed to athletics. And the number that's being thrown around is $60 million. And I think, from what I understand, that might be a fair number to start with. Who's there? New Mexico is probably at about $48 million in athletic budget. So where could they get their money from? And I asked, would you feel comfortable? Would you be all right if they got some more money from legislature? Ernie sent me a text, says, what kind of money would we also have to come up with for New Mexico State? Fair question. Right? Fair question. Probably more. If you're going to give New Mexico another 12, 15 million, probably going to have to give New Mexico State more, which seems right. But again, if all this oil and gas money, you're not the only state in America that would be helping to fund your state university athletic departments at a relatively significant rate. You think Oklahoma doesn't? You think the Texas schools aren't getting money? They do. They do. Garcia says, here's the other issue, Jeffy Lube. I don't think NIL is widely known about yet in the general student body. What happens when the average student, or professor for that matter, driving a hand-me-down 2008 Honda Civic, sees the basketball star pull up in a 2025 Volvo S60? When does that lead to a call to spend less, not more on athletics? Look, they're already seeing that. Garcia, I would tell you that they've already seen that, and I think that's just, hell, Eric Dickerson was doing that in the 80s, wasn't he? That's nothing new. I think we're getting to a point where people understand the difference. They may not like it. Mike says, not just 15 million, Jeffalou. If you give one university in New Mexico money, then you got to give some to New Mexico State and to Tech, etc. Final number is probably in the area of 50 million. All right, well, let's say it is. Let's play with your number. With again, with the billions that are coming in from oil and gas in the reserves and it's there. And I know the answer is there's more critical issues. I'm not going to argue with you. Is healthcare, is dealing with the homeless, is crime, is that more important than athletics? Nobody's arguing that it isn't. Right? I mean, you and I both agree with that?
Yes.
If there's a finite pot of money and you're going to prioritize issues, athletics, homeless, crime, security, healthcare, pick your issues. Yes, we all understand that. But is there enough to go around and take care of everything? Well, we're not taking care of anything right now, Jeff. I get it, man. That's a whole nother problem. A whole nother problem. But it's interesting, man, as you go through this. I'm interested to where you are because I don't know that this is the answer, JJ. I honestly, I have no idea. But it's kind of the latest, and it's one that feels like it takes a burden off of all those things that Canzano laid out in there. It takes a financial burden off of those packed schools in regards to buyouts. And it's like, well, we offered you the opportunity, and, we didn't leave you behind. You left you behind.
Yeah, it's one that, of the scenarios, I could see this would hold a lot of weight with those schools.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make sense for them to wait a little bit to see what happens with Clemson and Florida State. Is there going to be any more movement with the ACC if those schools get out? And then who knows, does the SEC go to 20 teams and have their mega conference at that point in time? And does the ACC say, well, let's make our West Coast division now?
Well, they got two teams out there, right? I mean, would it make sense? And then, I mean, who else is in that? Is that, are you looking at a San Diego State in there as well, and a Boise State or a Colorado State, right? I mean, as far as the budgets in your league.
And then, too, at some point, even if you're the Mountain West Conference, I think what the conference, the commissioner has done is the right thing, is open a relationship with Oregon State and Washington State. Have that combination with football, see how it goes. Now, either Olympic sports or West Coast Conference, but we know football is at the forefront of this, and the Mountain West schools have the ability to make up what they're looking for. Is at some point too, even them having all kind of some of that money locked away in the chamber, like they're going to start running out of power, thinking that they can do whatever they want still because they're the Pac-2.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's limited power there. Limited. I mean, they're they tell you there's power in numbers. I mean, money is power, but there's only two of them. There's only two. But we're going to say this is interesting, and San Diego State wants out. They made that clear. Colorado State's been saying that, and Boise State think they're better than this league for years, right? Would they feel better with the self-selection? Like, I don't know everybody's situation. I don't know how San Jose State, with a $39 million athletic budget, is going to get up to $60 million. That's not a state that's got a bunch of money. There's how many state universities that are asking for money. That's a whole different story there. Right? I think you got like 20-something Cal State schools and 9 UC schools who are asking for money. Like, I don't know where they're going to get it. Utah State might be in trouble too. Nevada might be as well. New Mexico's got to find a way to get up there. I don't know if Fresno State's going to do it, to be honest with you. But, I'd hate to see New Mexico get left behind in this. That's just because this isn't just about football. And those of you who just love basketball and tell me, football doesn't matter, you guys, I don't know what the alternative is, but I know you don't like it. Right?
Yeah. It's what is going to be the best spot to be able to continue to build and push forward your basketball program.
Would the American, JJ, would it be the American? Would you join it? Like the American right now And they got plenty of teams. 1, 2, I mean, what, they got 16? They got 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. They got 14. So would they absorb a couple? I mean, would you go in and play with Charlotte and Florida Atlantic and Memphis and UTSA and North Texas? I mean, it would almost be your best scenario if you get left out of this, right?
Yeah, I think what we could see happen is more worst case than best case. If I'm the American Athletic Conference,
mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and I'm feeding all these mouths,
Mm-hmm.
this is not bringing in extra revenue to my conference.
Well, because
I
of
don't think they
football,
jump
New
at
Mexico would be one of your bigger. Well, that's not right. That's not, I almost said you're one of your bigger markets. That's not right. That's not right. You're in San Antonio and you're in Dallas and you're in the DC area and you're in Charlotte. You're in Miami. No, that's not right. You're in Houston. You're in Philly. You're in New Orleans. Now, would New Mexico fit in that? I mean, hopefully we're not having this conversation.
The one thing with college athletics, to answer that question is yes.
Yeah, well, because what does fit mean?
Yeah. Fit means nothing anymore.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in. Love your thoughts on it. 505-246-0610. We come back. Steve Kerr and Steph Curry both spoke yesterday about losing Klay Thompson. I thought it was interesting what they had to say about that. The latest on USA basketball and Bronco Mendenhall at 9 o'clock this morning. Looking forward to talking to the Global basketball coach. Hey, are you searching for an ideal event venue? Like a place to hold an event, whether it's a meeting, a conference, a wedding, a reception. In the heart of downtown Albuquerque, let me suggest the diverse spaces of the Albuquerque Convention Center. They accommodate anything imaginable, from intimate settings and meetings all the way to grand expos and conferences. They've got a staff, they've got service, food and beverage options. Goes above and beyond. It'll make your dream event a reality. Right there in downtown, the Isleta New Mexico Bowl holds the event there. We have for years. The Thursday night event, I guess it'll still be Thursday night this year. We've been there for years. Why? Because their service is great. It's accessible. Everything they promise, they over-deliver on. The food is great. I was just out there a couple weeks ago for the Hall of Fame banquet, which I emceed, the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame banquet. More than 600 people got fed quickly. The food was good. The service was great. Easy parking in and out. Like whether you're looking for an event for 2 people or 20,000, they've got you covered. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Think about it for your next event. Holiday parties are coming up. I know. It's 100 and something degrees. Start booking now for your holiday parties. Be at the center of it all. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. AlbuquerqueCC.com or 505-768-4575.
This report is sponsored by Progressive.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble.
Off the tee was going like 220, 230. I'm like, okay, it's in play. It was bothersome. All right, Carl says, question for Bronco. Who is this year's Bob? That would be Bill. The guy Lobo fans have never heard of that'll come out of nowhere to shine. Hopefully some of that'll stick around for a while and not be uncommitted to 3 or 4 programs 12 months from now. Look, man, Carl, I'll ask him the question, actually. It's a good question. You know, who's the guy that fans don't know that's going to be really good? And it's probably everybody, right? But as far as someone's going to be here for 3 to 4 years, I again, you know, the fact that Devin Dampier's still here, I think is something. Don't you?
I do.
I mean,
the world that you live in being New Mexico Lobos football.
Yeah.
Your all-conference
not
players.
just New Mexico football.
No, but it's not just New Mexico, but it's the world you live in.
Yeah.
Your best players are going to leave.
It could be Alabama football too, by the way. I mean, it's just the world in which we live. All right. Klay Thompson is a Dallas Maverick. It's weird. It's going to be kind of different, especially if you're a Warrior fan, especially if you're a Warrior. So Steve Kerr and Steph Curry are with Team USA, player and coach, Golden State Warriors. And they addressed the departure of Klay Thompson yesterday. And quote from Kerr, I think it makes sense for him in his heart to get a different change of pace, change of location. Get out of California, go play on a different team. It's what's right for him right now. End quote. He said, I haven't ever had fantasies that this thing would go on for another 5 or 6 years. Steph, Klay, and Dre would retire together. I would retire with them. There's never been that thought. I've been around the league for a long time, whether it's Chicago or other situations. Never easy when these things start to run out. That was Kerr. Steph Curry said he never thought about it. It's going to be weird. He understands it. Watching those two talk about it, especially Curry, JJ, he took that pretty hard. They were tight. The Splash Brother thing was real. They won 4 championships. I think the reality, I think Klay leaving hit them in the face more than them not making the playoffs. The reality that, damn, that ride is over.
It did. And for Steph Curry, I'm sure there was a time in his career he thought that this would be who he finishes out with.
Right.
It was Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and they'll go down swinging as much as they can. And with the Warriors, it was a weird spot to be in where you want Klay Thompson back, but Klay Thompson isn't quite fitting in the same way in Golden State. Because in Golden State, Klay Thompson has to be the number 2 option. He has to be that number 2 scorer, the guy that takes pressure off Steph Curry. And he had a really up and down year last season for the Warriors, where there's numbers you can point at in times that Klay Thompson was off the floor. That team was a more efficient basketball team. But then you look at, there's also a reason that teams wanted Klay Thompson, that LeBron put a full court press on him, that Dallas wants to bring him in, because Klay Thompson, with a little less expectations on him in terms of having to be number 2, is still an impactful player in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at this, and Kerr's perspective is really good. I mean, do you remember, and it's so hard, I don't. Do you remember Scottie Pippen with the Blazers? He played 4 seasons with the Blazers. He was with the Rockets before that. Played 50 games with the Rockets. And then 4 seasons. I just don't. Do you?
Only when we bring it up.
Like, I got no recollection of it.
There's not a highlight you remember.
None. Right? I mean, how many teams did Shaq play for at the end of his year? Or at the end of his career?
And Shaq was in Phoenix and Cleveland. I think he threw a Boston jersey on at some point in time.
I know he did. I mean, it's, I don't know.
The Shaq one definitely feels like it stopped after Miami. Just of remembering, like, the player.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, I went and won another title with Dwayne Wade. Then it feels fuzzy.
Yeah, he bounced around. I just, watching it yesterday, it almost hit me that, the reality was more now. Missing the playoffs wasn't, well, whatever, we'll be back. And Steph was in denial that this was really going to happen. Yeah, after the Lakers, he went to Miami, Shaquille, the Phoenix Suns, the Cavaliers, and the Celtics. It happens. Dynasties just break up. Can't go on forever. Whether dudes get old or this situation, you got to go get paid. But it's something. And then we talked earlier about LeBron's conversations and about Bronny and that. LeBron was asked, on top of everything else, can you contend? And his reason was because we'd done it before. And I just thought, wow, that's not, I don't know that I buy that reason. Do you?
It's not very convincing.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers, what we've seen, and I think the high point is the Western Conference Finals appearance 2 years ago. The Lakers aren't going to be worse or better than the team we've seen them be. And they can flirt with being a top 6, might be a...
So they're between 4 and 8.
Yeah. And that's a very murky place to be. There's a lot of teams in the Western Conference that are that right now.
I would tell you all of them are.
Because you look at even 9th place last year, and a team that made a move over the weekend, the Sacramento Kings. Now, they're still 10 games above 500.
Mm-hmm.
That was good for 9th place in the Western
9th
Conference.
was the Kings, 10th was the Warriors, right?
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans was 8, Lakers were 7, I believe. Or no, other way around. Lakers were 7, or New Orleans was 7, the Lakers were 8. Yeah. Because they played that game in New Orleans. And then Phoenix was 6, and Dallas was 5. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Clippers were 4, Nuggets were 2, Minnesota was 3, and Oklahoma City was 1.
That's right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because even 10th place in the Western Conference is still 10 games above 500.
Yeah, and you go to the East and 2 teams.
It was 10 games below.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different world. And look, the East is getting better now. I mean, now, I don't know, top to bottom, the East is getting better. But you can give me 5 teams now that are pretty good. You can say, I mean, obviously Boston and the Knicks and Philly. But Milwaukee, assuming health is good. Cleveland and Orlando, you've got to look at and say, all right, they're legit. I think Miami's the one that falls off the table, don't you?
Yeah, and they're in that same type of floor last year, 46 and 36, the kind of headbutting with Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I don't know that I think they're going to be that good. I mean, I think you're exposed to, but does that mean they finish 6th, 7th, 8th in that conference? Yeah, they do. But 6th, 7th, 8th in that conference, so is that Miami as opposed to the Lakers or Phoenix or Dallas or right? Sacramento, Golden State, New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans. And I got to believe Memphis is going to be better too.
I think Memphis will be a team that is then in that 7 to 10 conversation with John Morant back on the floor.
100%. By the way, on them, I am kind of interested in seeing Zach Edey play today in the summer league. I know you're not high on him. I'm really interested to see how his game, if his game can transfer to the NBA. 9th overall seems like a reach. But now that they picked him 9th overall, did Memphis, obviously they're going to invest a hell of a lot into him and work with him and figure out a way to make him work. And I'm really interested to see how they think they're going to make.
They're in because they have Jaren Jackson Jr., who is a bouncy, dynamic, do-it-all power forward. You compare those two together in the front court, playing off John Morant, Marcus Smart. And this is the one I look at Zach Edey, and it's, hey, good job, good effort, fantastic college career. I struggle to see how it translates on a consistent basis to the NBA, just with the speed of the game, the amount of pick and rolls that they're going to put you in. But here we go. First taste of it, Summer League.
All right, 505-246-0610. Got some NFL stuff for you when we come back because camps are opening. Who is the favorite for the NFL's Coach of the Year? I think this may surprise you. And a better defense because this guy's their head coach. You're familiar with him, too. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Coach, media days in Vegas for players and coaches. It's what is it? Wednesday, Thursday for the Mountain West, right? Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. All right, who you got favorite for NFL's Coach of the Year? I mean, I don't even know how you bet on something like this. Who's going to be Coach of the Year? Like, I get Rookie of the Year.
You bet it on the same way you bet on
who you think's the surprise team.
Yeah.
All right. Who set up? So if I was going to look at it, I'm going to say, all right, Coach of the Year for me, I like Shane Steichen. I love me some Arizona. I don't know why I do this year.
And Jonathan Gannon.
I mean, that's what I meant. Shane Steichen. Yeah, I do mean Jonathan Gannon. I do. Yes. So can Doug Peterson be Coach of the Year if Jacksonville comes back and has a great year?
They win double-digit football games. Yes, they can.
Okay. And the other one I like, I'll throw another one out there before the favorite, Sean McDermott. I think he's going to come back, and I think they're going to have a year. I know most people don't. The betting favorite for NFL's Coach of the Year at plus 900 at DraftKings is Matt Eberflus, a guy who probably at the end of last season, I think the odds, if you'd have given odds at the end of the year, right when the season ended, would have been better that he got fired than kept his job, right?
Yes.
And now he's DraftKings' favorite for Coach of the Year.
And so kind of the way you were framing this, that wouldn't be the first name that would come to mind if you just ask someone, all right, Coach of the Year favorites, let's go. But it tracks with kind of what we see. It's a team that makes a big jump. Even though the Bears, there's a lot of hype with this team. People are expecting them to be good because they'll keep pointing out, it wasn't their number one pick. It was the Panthers, so they weren't that bad. Yeah. But that's part of the reason. They're a lot closer than we even thought Houston was to making that jump last year.
Next in line, Robert Saleh of the Jets, Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers, Matt LaFleur, the Packers, Raheem Morris, the Falcons, D'Amico Ryans, then Jonathan Gannon. All right. I'll get into the defense stuff here in a minute. Lenny, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Lenny.
Morning. If I get an NBA, I agree with that list except for Eberflus. How do you go from being one of the worst coaches possibly last season to now you're going to win Coach of the Year?
Well, was he one of the worst coaches? Was he one of the worst coaches?
The team was disorganized. The team wasn't good. What has he done to say that he's a Coach of the Year candidate?
I don't know. I think they're planning on the biggest turnaround. Look, there was no way to predict last year. Last year's guy went through 5 quarterbacks, right? Stefanski won last year, didn't he?
Right.
The Browns?
But I'm just looking at what have the Bears done? They've drafted well. They've signed some good players. But for him to get Coach of the Year, he's going to have to get to 9 to 10 wins. Do you see the Bears doing that?
I don't, but I know a lot of people do.
I agree with Robert Saleh. Charges of not being a homer, but if Saleh can get more so if Herbert can improve with the coach they have now, even with the loss of the players they had, there's enough for them. If the Chargers get to 11 wins, I would go with him as Coach of the Year.
You think they're going to?
No.
I don't either.
I don't. But, and then Green Bay, Jordan Love is just on an upward trajectory because he's playing for a huge contract. Their young receivers are starting to really do good.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got a running game with Jacobs.
Love that.
I could see them winning the division
I 100% could see them.
and winning 11, 12 games.
Yeah,
so
I think
I'm going to go
Detroit.
with him as coach of the
I
year.
think Detroit's better than them, but I could see them winning the division. I mean, it could get,
Detroit is better than them, but then that's why he shouldn't be coach of the year, because the team that's better, you're projecting them already
Understood.
to do that good.
I agree. You and I are on the same page with that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go quick for the NBA. Free agency's pretty much over. Congratulations to the Lakers. They did nothing to improve themselves. And the deal that Golden State, I'm glad Golden State, sent Clay Thompson to Dallas. For him, it's perfect. He doesn't have to do anything except catch and shoot.
Which is what I think he can still do. He's not going to have to play a lot of defense.
And he's still better than Tim Hardaway.
Yes. Yes.
So, and they have a very good young center. So that was a good deal. DeMar DeRozan to Sacramento. Good deal. So now you have DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, DeMonte Sabonis, and Keegan Murray.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good four.
Should be. It should be. Who's their coach? Oh, it's Mike Brown. Yeah, and they got a really good coach. Yeah.
He has that championship experience under him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I got, but a lot of teams, Phoenix can't do anything.
Because they're capped
Lakers
out.
Didn't do anything.
Yep.
As much as I'm a Knicks fan, they did what they did. They still overpaid, but I guess to look at it is it's only an overpayment
if you
to
don't
us,
win.
but to them, it's what they think he was worth.
Yeah, if you don't
We
win.
hit the deal done, but they hadn't done the deal in 40 years together.
It's about freaking time. All right, man. No, I appreciate
So
you.
you all have a good weekend. Enjoy the cooler weather today.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. It'll be nice today until I get off the plane. At 118 degrees. All right, let me give you this. Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Commanders. So he used to be the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys. JJ, are the Cowboys going to be better defensively with Mike Zimmer than with Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator?
First thought is no.
You ain't Malik Hooker, are you? Their safety, Malik Hooker, seems to think so. Quote, I'd say the biggest difference is discipline that we're going to have this year. Mike Zimmer will give you a couple of chances to mess up. If you keep messing up and can't get it right, he's going to get someone else in there. Dan Quinn, on the other hand, is more player-oriented. If something wasn't going right or we kept messing up, he'd level it down and make it easier for everyone to go out there and do what they were going to do, end quote. Interesting. Discipline. It's all about the discipline. Quinn was the Cowboys defensive coordinator 3 seasons. The team ranked 4th, 9th, and 6th in yards allowed. 19th, 12th, and 5th in points allowed. He did win assistant coach of the year in 2021. Mike Zimmer's a good defensive coach. I think they're going to be good. To me, players make plays. Now, can a defensive coordinator make a difference? Robert Saleh and DeMeco Ryans both made huge differences when they were in San Francisco, didn't they? I would argue with you that Dan Quinn made a big difference when he was in Dallas.
That's why you got a head coaching job again.
Yeah, scheme's a big deal. Players make plays. And I don't know if they got a whole lot different players on that side of the ball than they did a year ago, do they?
There's not a lot of major turnover across the Cowboys roster.
Yeah. So you tell me why you think it's going to be different. I'm listening. What about Joe Burrow? Remember he had that wrist injury? You know how he's gotten it better? I'll tell you next. Oh, and there's just a music piece to it. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, Bronco Mendenhall at 9 o'clock.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sports animal. How do you come back from a wrist injury? Big wrist injury that cost you the season. You play the piano. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Joe Burrow said he learned how to play the piano this offseason. It's helped him with his wrist injury. By the way, evidently he's getting pretty good at playing the piano. Does Joe Burrow feel like the guy, whatever he does, he's going to do, like he picks it up really quickly? Like, yeah, but I just learned to play tennis, so I'm pretty good. Oh, I just picked up a golf club. Yeah, look at it. I'm hitting 300-yard bombs. Oh, I just played the piano. Look, I could, like, he seems like that dude, doesn't he?
Most athletes are pretty good crossover.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. He had the captain the wrist injury last year. Quote Burrow. Well, number one, I want to be on the field for all the games. I know I'm going to play well when I'm out there. I'm at that point in my career where I've seen enough ball, and I know myself that I can go out there and play as well as anybody in the game. The biggest strides this year are going to be my body and learning how to get through the season, get through practices with my body feeling tip-top shape. And so that's the main focus for the offseason, end quote. He is one of the biggest. If he's healthy, they are good. Like, I guess you could tell me everything, right? Well, Mahomes is healthy, they're good. Well, no kidding. If Herbert's healthy, they're good. If Josh Allen's healthy, right? I get it. But this guy's the one coming off the injury.
But this is also, the difference is that it's back-to-back AFC title games with a Super Bowl appearance with this guy healthy.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's 100% right.
Like the one guy that makes you think just a little bit. When it's, oh, all right, Patrick Mahomes is playing Joe Burrow. Who you got? And you go, ooh. Everyone else, you're like, Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
That game, you're kind of like, I'm in.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I listened to an argument over the weekend that Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Because, well, he walked off the field a winner. No, he didn't. He walked off the field leading with 13 seconds to go. Not a winner. Winning, but he didn't win. Right? Last year, he drove him down, and the kicker missed a field goal. I mean, look, he's not far off, but he's far off because he hasn't won yet. The other dude keeps winning. Did you see the preseason poll, Big 12? Their media poll is already out. Big 12 Media Day tomorrow. Who do you think the favorite in Big 12 football is? Media poll. To get their berth in the college football playoff.
Okay. Well, first off,
yeah,
we have to look at the teams that are in the Big 12 conference.
New teams that are in there: Colorado, Utah,
Oklahoma,
Arizona,
Texas, not there anymore.
That's correct. Colorado, Utah, Arizona State, and Arizona are in it.
Is Utah the favorite?
Utah is the favorite, according to the media. Again, 906 votes. Kansas State was next, then Oklahoma State, then Kansas, then Arizona. Colorado and Deion Sanders picked 11th. Arizona State was picked last. Big 12 championship game will be at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, December 7th. Top two teams, according to conference records. So last year that was Texas over Oklahoma State. Deion will be, this will be his first appearance at Big 12 Media Day. It'll be this week. Shedeur Sanders is the preseason conference first team all conference. I don't know, first team all conference quarterback, which should not be a surprise. Travis Hunter, first team DB. Colorado's going to be an interesting entrant into this. And the biggest thing I think is going to be interesting about Colorado this year, JJ, they'll score points. How are their lines going to be? Can they stop anybody? Because they could not stop anybody last year.
Very similar to the team they were last year. And expecting explosiveness with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, which could be one of the best quarterback wide receiver combinations in the entire country. But then it's, are you protecting your quarterback? Defensively, is there anyone there that can make a play?
Yeah. And can you stop anybody? Can you stop anybody, or are you just going to try to outscore everyone? I think Big 12 is going to be interesting. I think watching what Arizona does. They were so good at the end of last year. Jed Fish leaves, takes a bunch of players with him up to Oregon, and Brent Brennan, the former San Jose State coach, has taken over. And I'm really interested to see what Arizona does and how they can play in this league with Oklahoma State and Baylor and Texas Tech. The league's interesting. It is. They're more interesting to me than, I don't know, the ACC. But I guess maybe that's because I'm in this part of the world. But I'm interested to see the morphage of that league and how it goes. I am. When we come back, Lobo coach Bronco Mendenhall is scheduled to be with us. Media Day, Wednesday, Thursday in Vegas. Catch up with Bronco before. It's kind of like a warm up for him. Just get him prepped and going for the Media Day. But we're not going to ask him, his favorite desserts and favorite songs and that kind of stuff. Unless you want to. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman. Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
It's kind of the turning of a page or a turning of a season. Media days, Big 12 tomorrow, Mountain West Conference on Wednesday and Thursday. It gets started now. It's essentially football season. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck will be at the Mountain West Conference Media Days in Las Vegas later this week. And there will be 7 new coaches of the 12 teams in the Mountain West Conference. One of them will be New Mexico's Bronco Mendenhall, or at least coaches in different places. How about that? They're not all new head coaches, but teams who have different coaches than they ended last season with. And a lot of questions, and they'll be all over the place, from probably how's your team to realignment to what do you expect. And I wanted just kind of get them prepped. Maybe that's what this is. Bronco Mendenhall is the Lobos head football coach, and he's with us this morning on the Sports Animal. Bronco, good morning. Thanks for spending some time with us. How you doing?
Hey, what's happening?
We just want to get you prepped, make sure you knew your favorite color, your favorite band, all those great media day questions that everybody's going to throw at you for the next few days.
Yeah, all the things of significance that are really going to make a difference in the season. That's what we're talking about.
At least you understand that, right? I mean, that's what the next few days are going to be. When you go to these things, I mean, what do you expect out of media day? Because everybody's trying to make their mark and be funny and be different. And what do you expect out of it? Because this one especially, you probably know where your team's going to be picked. You know what the media thinks of your team. So what are you expecting going into this week?
The expectations every year going to media day, it's a lot of questions that are premature, that are based on partial to limited information, that are usually inaccurate, that really don't have much relevance, that give a lot of folks something to talk about until the games actually start.
100%.
It's kind of the way I see it.
No, 100%. So I'm glad you kind of went there, because we were having this conversation the other day, and I've been doing Lobo football now. I've been here for 28 years, and I think for the most part, I can't remember a season going into this that I just don't know. Right? People say, how are they going to be? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the players. I don't know who's there. I don't know the system. Do you have a pretty good feel, or is it the same way for you?
No, it's the same. And I think what's becoming now more apparent than ever, this will be, I would say, more of the norm, especially at the Group of 5 level. Our roster alone has turned over 60 players, 60. Yeah. I think most Group of 5 teams, and you could do the research on this, will be somewhere between 40 and 60 on average per year. And so now you think also about 7 new head coaches in our league alone. The way college football is currently going, and that means, right, with NIL, with the transfer portal, and quite frankly, with the schedule that the coaches keep, which is significantly different now than it's ever before, and not nearly as appealing to many coaches as the NFL. So not only are you going to see coaching changes, but you're going to see player changes, especially at the Group of 5 level, at an unprecedented rate, which usually leads to uncertainty and lack of consistency. And so unless there are programs at the Group of 5 level especially that are fiercely committed to resources and having great football, man, you could see probably more variability year in and year out going forward now than maybe ever before. Boy. And so I think what you're sensing and what you're feeling now is just really where college football is, not necessarily specific to New Mexico, but I would say Group of 5 for sure. And then I would say probably bottom half of a lot of Power 5 programs.
You hit on resources. Bronco Mendenhall is with us on the Sports Animal, and we had a conversation earlier about where the next step in realignment is, and I know that's going to be a big topic in Vegas this week with Oregon State and Washington State out there with the PAC banner, and who may merge with them and how this may play, and a lot of the conversation has been on resources and budgets, and I know that had to be a conversation and something that Eddie convinced you is going to be a priority for you to take this job.
I think it's a work in progress. And no question, realignment is going to happen again. Not only Mountain West / PAC, whatever we're calling that, but Power 5 as well. The resource discrepancy from basically the non-salary cap schools is kind of what I call them. Yeah. There'll be so many of those that will eventually, I think, continue or just choose to go play a different game than where it currently is. There'll be the existing Power 5 schools that have a semblance of academic focus, as well as some Power 5 resources, but not the same level of the group that will probably take off. And then you'll end up with, again, the Pac-2, the top of the Mountain West, / other maybe top 3 Group of 5 conferences, and they'll be racing for resources as well. And so literally, right, from university presidents to athletic directors, the football programs, maximizing resources, demonstrating yield will be really important in terms of not only historically what will the program do, but under new leadership and new direction under the current times, does that given program now become more marketable? And so I think any Group of 5 team, that's what's on their mind. And so the results absolutely matter to demonstrate you can do more with less, or possibly continue to do more with more at this level to qualify for whatever the next level will be and the next merger will be.
Coach, you mentioned the challenges coaches have with their schedule might be harder now than it has been. What are some of those challenges? But then also, what has you so bought into attacking those challenges now as a college head coach?
Yeah, so really it's just recruiting. The schedule changes, so recruiting is 24/7, literally all year round, other than the small break we currently have right now in July, which I'm in Montana saddling horses right now, getting ready to build some fence a little later. Nice. So I've got maybe 10 days with the media day break coming up before our season hits. Other than that, there is no time off, and nor is the structure really conducive to sustainability. I'm talking at the coaches level. Then with your roster changing, and with June, the way that's become with recruiting, gosh, and official visits, it's unprecedented. And so there's just more strain with higher expectations and more variability than there's ever been. And to your second point, yeah, I love impact. I love influence of young people. I especially like to do it through college football. Almost regardless of the landscape and those challenges, I think young people need really good leaders, really good mentors, really good teachers, and really good men around them now more than ever, with the competing voices that really just have them being viewed more as commodities than as people. In many cases, that's an exaggeration. So, but maybe more so of commodities now than ever. And I think the human development component, while playing great football, is just super compelling. And there are places that need that more than others. And those are really the places that I like.
Lobo head football coach Bronco Mendenhall with us here on The Sports Animal. And you touch on something I do think is really fascinating. I think this day and age, from the outside looking in, a lot of people assume that young student athletes don't like to be challenged, or you can't challenge them, or you can't push them because of the transfer portal and NIL. What do you see from student athletes, when you push them a little bit and you say, hey, this isn't going to be easy, but if you work for something, there is a payout at the end?
Yeah, I think it's just absolutely essential to take that approach. The studies on grit, resiliency, determination, and resolve clearly are some of the strongest, if not the strongest, predictors in quality of life of young people. And so when folks come watch our practice, or just have seen the way that we do things in an earn not given mentality, they're so concerned, wait, all your best guys are going to leave. What we've really found is it's just the opposite, is young people, when they trust you and they believe in you that you're capable and competent and care about them, that whole combination of those three things, man, they're anxious to be pushed. They're anxious to be challenged because, again, they know you know what you're doing. Their trust has been demonstrated individually, and they know you care and have their best interest at heart. And when that happens, gosh, they want to get better, and they want to be pushed, and they know that's the only way they're going to reach their goals. Anyone that doesn't see it that way, either through the youth travel teams that are starting so early and the focus only on sport, even at the super young age, and a lot of young men, quite frankly, starting to be passed by young women in terms of college degrees, advanced degrees, etc. We have, in my opinion, we have to develop amazing people through sport, not just have sport because of sport. Otherwise, the young men will end up becoming the ones that suffer most. And if without being challenged and without super high expectations, how are they going to qualify and be prepared for the world to come? And that really is just, I'm fascinated, and I love that entire approach, just doing it through championship football. And I think it all can happen. So if a young man happens to choose to leave because of high expectations, it won't be because he's forced out. It'll be because he's choosing to leave. And unfortunately, there'll be a place that will have lesser expectations, which will then prepare them at a lower level for life and a higher level because they could play a game. And, man, I'm not for that.
In that vein, what percentage of your football team has earned their number yet?
None. So our numbers, fall camp is the fall practice period coming up is when that begins. And usually, we come in, let's say, on a Wednesday, and you'll practice 2 or 3 days to get to the weekend. And the end of that following week is usually the first jersey award ceremonies. Then the end of next week will be the next ceremony. Then at the end of the next one, there'll be another. And that goes on all the way through the season. And so it literally, players are qualifying all year based on what they do, how they do it, and at the level they do it, acknowledged by their peers, not their coaches, but by eventually our captains and our leadership council. So their peers are recognizing them for what they're doing and how they're doing it, including what kind of teammate they are and how they're living off the field. Right, all those things matter. And so really their peers are giving them great feedback as to where they stand in the program and how they're currently doing.
He's Bronco Mendenhall, Lobo football coach, with us on the Sports Animal for a few more minutes. You used a term earlier, just a few minutes ago. You said top of the Mountain West when you were talking about the realignment. How do you make sure that your football program falls into top of the Mountain West, and where do you think they are right now in that regard? Well, I think New Mexico is traditionally, with 3 winning seasons over the last 17 years, in football been the bottom of the Mountain West. And otherwise there wouldn't have been another coaching change right at New Mexico. I'm 33rd head coach. That's a lot of coaches. Ultimately, right, the way that you address the question you just asked me is you have to win. And tricky, right, because a lot of people say you can't win until you have resources, and a lot of folks say resources won't come until you win. I love doing more with less. I love maximizing existing resources, strategic design, innovations, and it just so happens I've been successful doing that with kind of challenging programs or challenging times the programs are going through. But without the success on the field, there isn't a team in the Mountain West that'll be at the top of the Mountain West. So you have to have the results. And there's 7 new coaches, like you just said. There's some traditional teams that have shown historically that they'll always be toward the top because of resources, tradition, history, and commitment, as well as competency of coaching. And then there's basically everyone else, which is almost the entire league, that's carving out and working to carve out a place for themselves in the new landscape or whatever that might be. But it absolutely has to happen through winning. It's not going to happen without that. And I think anyone that would think that is just being pretty naive.
Of course, Bronco, your focus is building this program, building young men when it comes through football. When it comes to the fan base, do you feel that too is kind of earned, or do you want them to, come out there early and we'll show you what we can be?
Yeah, it's both. And let's be honest and face the spectrum, right? There'll be plenty early investors that know my track record of being a head coach for 17 years and 16 of those teams have qualified for postseason. That's a pretty compelling argument that this program will have success. We don't know for sure how long it will take. Virginia was the second year. BYU in that struggling period, it was the first year back to postseason. So there'll be early investors, which I'll be so thankful for and appreciative of and just so glad for their belief to start. There'll be others that, they'll see a couple wins and then they'll come, and there'll be some that will need more proof. And I understand every one of those points. I would love anyone to come when they feel like, they want to come and support just a great group of kids. Highest GPA in the school's history just happened with just so much ahead of them and so much commitment to really restore and have an amazing football program, but also have great people. And, gosh, I think at some point, to your question, right, and each threshold will be different. Some families will come right from the beginning. Some will take a little longer, and some will take a little longer. I welcome anyone, right, whenever they're ready. UNM football's for you, and we'd love to have you.
Biggest question I get, how are they going to be on the lines? Offensive line, obviously, they were so good last year, and they got beat. Do you have an idea? How offensive line, defensive line, how do you look?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to get this number right, but it's been in flux. I think we've added 17 new offensive linemen.
Gracious.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. So the entire 2 deep was basically gone before I was hired. And I think we've done a really good job of filling in a strong 2 deep and other numbers that can be developed along the way. So 3 deep within, about a 6-month period, 6.5-month period is, at one position is just crazy. But I'm encouraged by what I've seen so far. Too early to say that I'm convinced, but I'm encouraged. And I would say the same on the defensive side. The defensive line might be one of our most talented positions, which I know is probably not what most people think. We're not super deep, but I think there's some capable players there. Again, the consistency, and I kind of measure 3 things, right? Durability, consistency, and productivity. Just because a person, any of us, is capable, that doesn't mean they're going to be productive. Man, the daily durability that it takes in any of our lives, but in certainly college football, the durability allows then the repetitions to stack, right? And the volume to be added and the mastery to be improved, right? That leads to the consistency, which then, if those 2 things happen, man, you get the productivity. And if you put 5 guys out there on the O-line that do all that together, they become a pretty dang good unit. Same at any other position. So I think capability is there for sure on both sides. Now, whether we're going to be durable enough, consistent enough, and productive enough, that's time will tell. And you've probably done the research on this. I'm not sure how many media days has ever predicted an accurate finish from top to bottom in a conference.
Never.
And I think it's never. That would be my take. Yeah. And quite frankly, there's a reason, right, that the playoff poll isn't now until week 8. Yeah. And I've always shared with my family, because we don't really listen, read, or pay any attention to the social media during the season. And they'll always ask me, man, what do you think of this team, whatever? And I said, after week 8, we'll begin to have an idea.
I think that's right.
And even after week 8, you've seen it through the finish of games 8 through 12 and then the playoffs, how that's almost a season of itself that's hard to predict. So, we're so early in this whole process. But I'm encouraged. My team's working really hard, but those are the expectations. We call them extreme expectations. I think they're aligned. I think they're driven. And I think they're willing. And, man, are they hopeful. And I would say we actually use the word desperate in a positive connotation. I think they're desperate, right, to perform, to demonstrate what they can do, to have an amazing football program. And so I think hopeful is just the beginning. Desperate actually is acting on that. And I would say we have a really strong group of desperate young people that are anxious to prove and earn their spot. And they know the clock is ticking. They also know the deficit we're starting from. We address the brutal facts as much or more than anyone on the planet. And that gives them a great reference point to start from. And so they already know what's ahead of us, and we welcome the challenge.
Beautiful. I enjoy this so much and appreciate you spending this time. Hopefully we warmed you up for Media Day. It'll be a nice, cool 118 degrees when you touch down. And, I know we didn't get into your favorite dessert, your favorite Vegas attraction, your favorite songs, but I saved that for all the pros that'll be there in Vegas this week. Safe travels. I'll see you in Vegas this week. Thanks for the time, as always.
Thanks to both of you. See you later.
All right, be well. He is Bronco Mendenhall. I enjoy that so vehemently. I know we went like 2 segments long on that, and we'll get back on time, but it's just so good. I got a million thoughts coming out of that. I know you do too. We'll do it next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Two Men On.
Dang, Luca.
So that is good.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
The Sports Animal.
I'm going to go back to the podcast and listen to that again. JJ, there was so much in that. Appreciate Bronco Mendenhall spending about 16 minutes with us this morning. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. I got a number of things I wrote down. Anything jump at you?
Well, with Bronco Mendenhall, it is a mindset. It is a message that when it comes to turning things around, rebuilding, he checks every single box. Like, if he was not coaching football, I think he would have a business designing motivational posters.
Okay.
Like, his plan, his message, it's thought out, it's backed up, and he put it out there. His resume, he let you know that where he's been, he wins football games. It's clear, and it hasn't changed since he was hired.
Oh, that's right. So a couple things. The very first question, when I talked to him about, I just don't know, and he says, I don't either. And that's the way it's going to be, and it's probably going to be that every year, right? And maybe it was that way last year, but this is to me even bigger. He says it's just the way it's going to be. Certainly with Group of 5 teams. He says we turned over 60 roster spots. 17 new offensive linemen, JJ. 17. There's got to be 5 good ones in there, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think gives you a chance. And I understand, like I can promise you, when the polls come out on Wednesday morning, New Mexico will be picked last in this league, right? I mean, maybe Nevada, but maybe there's a few voters who just go with Bronco. Maybe some Utah State people vote that way because they're familiar with him. But just because it's turnover, look, and there's turnover all over this league. 7 out of 12 have new coaches. But if you're going to tell me we're turning over 60 players, and I got a coach with a track record like that, who feels like they recruited well, and look, I don't know, man. I have no idea, nor do you. But if everybody else is somewhat on the same turnover level, why are your guys not as good as their guys? I think your coach is as good as anybody in this league, don't you? I mean, if you go up and down this league right now, first of all, you can't name me half the coaches in this league. You don't know who they are. But is there a better coach in this league right now? A more accomplished coach?
Bronco Mendenhall.
Jeff Tedford's pretty good.
Is a top-tier coach in the Mountain West right now.
Right? I mean, as far as accomplishments, it's him and Jeff Tedford, isn't it? For being head coaches? And Troy Calhoun.
Yeah, you have veteran experience. Then Spencer Danielson, Barry Odom.
Barry did a really nice job last year. Like I think UNLV's coach is really good. Really good. But let's see now. He lost his quarterback to USC, right? Did you go to Georgia or SC? I know he was committed to both of them. Maava. One of them. San Diego State's got a new coach. We just talked about Spencer Danielson. He's new at Boise State. He ended the year there. Nevada's didn't change. San Diego State did. San Jose State did. Utah State's got a new coach. Wyoming's got a new coach. I mean, dude, everything's up in the air. Like, you tell me why I'm supposed to believe that Wyoming's new guys are better than New Mexico's new guys. And I got a coach who's got a pretty good track record. Now, I got to tell you they're going to win the league. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that at all. I will tell you this. I was encouraged by the last answer. Because I think I get that question more than anything else specifically, and you probably do too. How are they on the lines? And I've had a couple of people in football tell me that's where they're going to get beat, that they're not very good up front. And that's why I asked that question.
The comment about the defensive line.
How about that?
Was the one thing that stood out to me is he thinks that
there's
some talent there.
Yeah.
And that's been a position that hasn't had an impact player in a while.
Yeah. Nevada changed coaches too. Yeah. Thanks, Frank. No, I appreciate that. They did. Yeah, I forgot they did. 7 of them, man. No, and so I look at it and I'm like, okay, why don't you tell me why I'm supposed to think San Jose State with their new head coach, their new guys are better than New Mexico's new guys, are better than Wyoming's new, like. And if you're going to tell me their new coach is that guy and their new coach is that guy, and Bronco Mendenhall's a coach here, who's evaluated talent, who's won at Virginia, like he said, second year at Virginia, BYU, they got him back to the postseason the first year. Again, I'm not going to sit here and promise you they're going to a bowl game, but I got to believe that there's going to be some progress. Now, your schedule is freaking brutal. You guys don't, like, everybody, Montana State. Easy on the Montana State thing. That's a really good FCS team. Then you got to go to Arizona and Auburn and New Mexico State before you come home again. The New Mexico State thing's going to be interesting this year, too. Somebody just asked me, I got a text from Bruce. He said, now that Dirty Jerry and Diego Pivia are gone, has the heat died down, Jeffers? Is the rivalry with Jason and Jerome's guys back down to a normal level? It's going to be interesting, huh? Is that rivalry back to a normal level?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's ever going to be a normal level.
I know. Yeah, that one's going to, I don't know what normal level is going to be.
What is a normal level in the rivalry?
It's a great question. That's a really fair question.
Like, if it means something, it's going to be spicy.
Yeah. Hey, on this one, I apologize. I didn't see this before. Maybe Frank can help me. It says, fellas, can you ask Coach Bronco if they're going to do summer football camps again? It's from Steve. I apologize. I didn't see that until afterwards. Wow. This says, go Bronco. I'll tell you what, if I'm Tiddlywinks NMSU fan listening to that, I'm bleeping in my pants. Okay. All right. This one says, great interview with Coach Mendenhall. Everything I hear from him shows that he was the absolute perfect hire for UNM. His teams will be competing their butts off and will no longer be seen as a bye week for folks. Vegas has UNM winning 2.5 games this season. I'd say the over is a layup. I got my season tickets. That was another really interesting answer, and you hit him on this, on the fans, and I love the way you phrased it. You said, the fans, does that have to be earned as well, meaning you have to earn the fans back. And I loved his answer. Some families, he said, will come back right away. They're going to see a coach who's won other places. He said some will take a little longer and some a little longer. And I appreciate every step of the way. I appreciate every one of them. It was an ideal way to answer that because he knows. He and I have had this conversation off the air about fan base and what it's looked like around here. And he knows what he's getting into. I loved the way you phrased the question about earning the fans back, and I really appreciated the way he answered.
And because I do think that it's an interesting dynamic so they are presenting that everything is earned, not given.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message from the football program. Oh. It's on their social media. It's kind of their motto. But at the same time, you don't want to necessarily have to have your fan base think that way, of almost a wait and see mentality. But the realization is it's a process, just like Bronco Mendenhall laid out. Like, you don't want to have to earn them, but you do.
But you do.
Like,
he knows that, and he knows that, and I don't think he's shying away from that.
No, so it starts with, of course, the product on the field, and then it goes to everything else that UNM does.
That dude may win Media Day. Like, he may win Media Day this week. I look around, and I think a lot of people are going to want to talk to Jeff Tedford. But with all the new coaches and Jay Norvell's always an interesting quote. Bronco's going to be really.
The coaches have been good. Like, I'm interested. Great. It's with the turnover in the Mountain West, I think you're going to get a lot of similar messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they going to be able to present it as well as Bronco Mendenhall does?
No.
This guy's been there, done that.
No.
But I think it's going to be a very similar theme across the Mountain West and how these head coaches, how these programs are handling what college football is in 2024.
Great conversation. Luke Wysong is going to be with us tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll catch up with Luke Wysong on his way to Vegas. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM. And I guess I should tell you, I hate when people do that. Let me put it into perspective. Lobo offensive, what is he, like a running back, receiver? More of a receiver, right? Flanker. But they're taking him to Media Day. But one of their big offensive weapons. He'll be with us tomorrow morning. All right, now. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This is Two Men On.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like and shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
He was in a good mood this morning, man. He likes being in Montana, saddling horses and building fences.
Why? Even as a football coach, he's like, I'm not worried about football right now.
Oh, he's saddling horses and building fences. Like, I love that. He's gonna get. I'm just telling you, he's going to be interesting in Vegas this week, and I'm interested to see how the media responds to him. You know, we go around. You go into the print room, and they sit at the tables. Like, remember Rocky used to have people swarming around him, right? We go to that, and, you know, because he was always that guy. We'll see. But it's good. James says, highest GPA in school history, Jeff. If that mattered, Danny Gonzalez would still be the coach. Well, it matters, but not as much as winning and lose. Like, you get it, man. But if you can win with the right kind of player, and I think Danny always had the right kind of player. You haven't had any problems come out of UNM football in how many years now? I mean, honestly, police blotter stuff, right? I mean, you haven't. This one, Ron says, reply to Bronco. Jeff, if Lobo football was picked first, him and Frank would be yelling from the top of the Sandias how important it is for the program. Yeah. But they're not, and they won't. But if they somehow got to that point, then that would mean that there's respect for what they're doing, yeah. But they're not. So it'll say it doesn't matter, and he's right. How often they put it out, JJ, gosh, I should have printed it. I don't even have access to it now. How many the preseason polls and then the actual winners? And it's so rare they even pick the winner, let alone the exact order of finish. They never do. So, what else I got? Side trip to, I already gave you that. All right, 505-246-0610. A couple other things on there. He talked about if a young man wants to leave the program because, and I'm paraphrasing, it's too hard, too rigorous, whatever, too demanding. He's not been forced out. And there will be somewhere that has lesser standards for him to go play. And how's that preparing him for life? And the perspective's so good, right? Yeah, it's hard, because you asked a great question. You asked a number of great questions in there. But you talked about today's student athlete, and the knock on the student athlete is they don't want to be coached, they don't want to be pushed, they don't want to be disciplined. And how does that mesh with what he's doing. You could hear him laugh during the question, right? Because what he has found, and what you and I both believe, is that young men and young women do want to be pushed. They may not tell you that, but when you get them in a situation, they know how that gets them better. They do want to be pushed. They do want to put in the work. They do want to see that work leads to success. They do want to get better, and he will demand that.
Yeah, there's always going to be stories out there when players transfer of was something too hard, was something over the top. But when it comes down to it, if you're an athlete, have ways changed to coach athletes and handle things? Yes, but that doesn't mean that there still isn't those core principles of sport, which so many of us have bought into at some point in time or understand because you're a fan of it from top to bottom, college, pro, etc. Is that in the right situation, doesn't matter if it's 2024 or 1994, student athletes still respond to that, need that push, need that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I think that's right. The other thing, and this is, like, he mentioned it and acknowledged it. I mean, I got some breaking news for you in college basketball in a second. But he mentioned this and acknowledged this. He talked about the next phase of realignment. And he talked about being at the top of the Mountain West. That was his term. He brought it up. And so I felt like I needed to follow up and ask him to expound on that. How do you get there? Are you in there? And where do you view Lobo football accordingly? And he says, obviously, we're at the bottom, right? What do you say? 3 winning seasons in the last 17. That's why I'm the 33rd coach. That's a lot of coaches, and why they made another coaching change. And he says, the bottom line is you have to win. We know that. And I think he understands how critical it is. And that's Eddie does too. And that's why I firmly believe also that's why Bronco was the coach, because you need a relatively quick turnaround. Now, that doesn't mean they got to win this year. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? But he talked about commitment. He talked about resources. He talked about facilities. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? The facilities or the win? The commitment or winning. And they got to go hand in hand. But he talked about having to be able to make more, do more with less. I just, there's so much in there. All right. UConn, Danny Hurley. So Danny Hurley turned down, what was it, $70 million over 4 years? Is that right? Is it a 4-year deal for $70 million? Was it 4 or 6 years? Do you remember? It was 6. It was 6. UConn just gave him a 6-year, $50 million contract. Just announced it, and he's got the opportunity to receive performance incentives throughout the course of the contract. So he turned down a 6-year, $70 million deal from the Lakers. They won back-to-back championships at the University of Connecticut, and Dan Hurley today has been rewarded 6 years, $50 million as the head coach of the University of Connecticut. It's pretty good gelt, right?
Yeah. We knew what he was going to get, and then it was just, I guess, got to wait till that fiscal year pops in.
I guess that's right.
Name on the contract.
Yeah, so the new fiscal year. All right, 505-246-0610. You still have time to get in. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Everything you got to know as you go through your Monday when we get back on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Dan Hurley just got a 6-year, $50 million contract to coach the UConn Huskies basketball team. Giannis Antetokounmpo was brought to tears after Greece qualifies for his first Olympics. You got, what else you got big coming? Oh, you got Wimbledon. Did you see the Coco Gauff thing yesterday?
Man, she was upset.
It was just bizarre. She was really upset. She's out at Wimbledon. LeBron James, I think people are going to be talking about this too. LeBron on the 14th anniversary of I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Not 2, not 3, not 4. He spoke yesterday about Bronny. He said Bronny don't give a bleep about what people think of him. It's different than him. That'd be interesting. And I think people will be talking about the Bronco Mendenhall conversation we just had. Grady just sent a text. Says, I love that response from Bronco. The human component, that they are not commodities with clapping hands. Now he may be saying that because the football piece isn't there yet, but I love it nonetheless. Yeah, I think that was, he acknowledged. I think he believes that, don't you?
I do think Bronco Mendenhall believes that. I think it is still a good message right now for where the program is. I do think it's going to be a challenge if there's not some crossover into acknowledging what you have to do. And that is the NIL game is a big player in this, and that's still something that you have to work on building up so you can have that investment in football.
You know, I was thinking about when we were talking about budgets earlier, and about the what's the word? It's not a plan. The scenario that's out there, where the PAC, whatever, may basically self-regulate itself as far as who gets, who joins for the Mountain West, based on a floor athletic budget, and it might be $60 million. And I was thinking, okay, so New Mexico would have to grow their budget, their athletic budget, $12 to $15 million minimum annually. And where does that money come from? And can you rely on it coming from the state? Can you rely on it coming from local, right, boosters? How you find another $12 to $15 million annually? And JJ, I was thinking about that in regards to, gosh, you're asking for NIL money, right, on a regular basis. You're asking for global club donations. You're asking for, at some point, especially in a market like this, it dries up. And that's why I think the state component is going to be key if that scenario happens. Jeff says, would agree that some fans, there's a perception now that there's NIL, players don't want to work hard. They only care about the money. That's completely false. Just look at the passion when they lose and how hard they do work. Once again, I think some just wanted to bitch and complain, and why they go to Lobo games or watch college sports, I have no idea. You know, some of these people. Another note on defensive line. They're small, but at the spring game and the two practices that I went to, defensive line looks small in the middle, but their outside guys and linebackers were very quick and fast. Hope that speed helps a lot. No, it was interesting what he said about the defensive line, how that might be, their strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to there's so much turnover. He said they added 17 new offensive linemen. What you brought in the portal, a couple of those guys are going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, 17 of them. You think you're going to hit on a bunch of them? I'd like to believe you're going to hit on a bunch of them. And it's not just 17 random dudes. I mean, 17 guys that you went out and recruited. So we'll see. All right, you get some Summer League today. You get your first look at Zach Edey. No Bronny today, right? They're sitting Bronny because of knee soreness. This is in the California Summer League. And I think they're opening up in Salt Lake City as well. But Zach Edey today, JJ, do I have just an insane, weird fascination with him and want to see him play? 9th overall pick. I want to see how he translates. And granted,
lottery pick. Yeah. National College Player of the Year.
Twice.
Yeah, you want to see him on the floor. See how he handles some of the speed, which is still in the Summer League. There's quickness.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested, man. That one fascinates me quite a bit. And I know you really like the Summer League. I glanced at it the other day. It was a hard watch. I'm not going to lie. I flipped off and watched golf or tennis or something.
Yeah. A bunch of rookies and guys that are trying to make NBA rosters.
And make impressions and force stuff. And yeah, it was I watched Lakers. Who were they playing? The Kings? I mean, I wanted to watch a little Bronny, and I'm like, all right, I got to watch a little bit, right? I was like, all right. And then I'm like, I've seen enough. But it's the difference. And I correlated this in my own mind, because I found myself watching the Euro Cup, right? I found myself, it's the difference between really high end and not, right?
Yeah.
I appreciated watching. Who did Netherlands play? They were down 1-0 and came back and won 2-1. They scored 2 late. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. Like, crisp passing, really, really skilled. I'm like, all right, I'm down with this. It was a big underdog that they were playing. It was Turkey. Or Turkia, as they now say. Turkia. Yeah, and Turkey went up 1-0, and Netherlands was desperate, and they scored twice within 8 minutes. I'm like, all right, now I get it. All right, this is like, I can be down with it. It's such a difference, right, at that level. Maybe that's why I was struggling with the It's Summer League into G League. All right, what do you got? What are you watching today? Have you hit any Wimbledon at all?
I would definitely tune in when it's a little bit.
Yeah, this week. As we hit the quarters. Yeah. Another thing to watch for this week, the Scottish Open. So the Open Championship is next week. And so the Scottish Open is this week. And Rory McIlroy will be back to competing. He's defending his Scottish Open title. And he's been absent from competition since the U.S. Open. And you remember what happened at the UN Open. That'll be interesting to take a look at this week. I'll be in Vegas tomorrow. Luke Weissong is going to be with us tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Lobo wide receiver. Thank you to Bronco Mendenhall, who spent some time with us, a bunch of it today. Really appreciate that conversation. Again, it's available for you wherever you get your podcasts, or just hit our website, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and it'll be there for you. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd is here at 1 o'clock. 2 men on at 4, and then we're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio beginning at 7 a.m. Adrian looks great on the visual side. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We will smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.